So it's like the competition is good for, well, this is here we go.
This is Miami. This is Miami. Honking at a lady on a bike and the lady talking shit right back to you. That is Miami.
Miami, beautiful, beautiful Washington Avenue.
Somewhere the shit done got crazy. I just been driving Miss Daisy with my hands on the steering wheel and my eyes on the pavement. I give a fuck about where they went. I owe my lawyer a pay.
If you could take a free punch at any celebrity, who would it be?
Where you brought up Warren Sapp.
You so tough, put a jersey on. Put a jersey on. You so tough, put a jersey on.
But I think he'd be like a knee jerk. Like this, you wouldn't be able to take a free punch at Warren Sapp. He would just use me.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, as a toothpick. He would use me as I would just like free punch. I don't really hate anybody like that. That I'd want to cause them physical. Even Warren. That I'd want to cause them physical harm. Honestly, yeah, I really just don't. I don't hate like that. I'll tweef. I'll talk shit. But like, I don't see why it has to. Why it has to come to that? Yeah, I believe on settling your differences. With a respectful or spirited debate.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
This next segment is called Hot Takes. It's my favorite. You get a chance to make a hot take, a la Skip Bayless. I'm assuming you know what a hot take is.
Yeah.
Hot take right now. Skip. Get it off your chest. Go.
Are we going to do subject? Is there even categories? Is there even
sports, movies? Movie hot take. You're a director. You get to make a hot take on the movies. You have the balls to say that Grinch wasn't fantastic. So
I want to tell you this. A funny story I've never been able to tell because he was still there. So I walk in to remember John Walsh, now retired from ESPN, VP over there. He was one of the guys who brought in Nate Silver. He brought in Bill Simmons. He started all of 538. He was really influential early on in getting 30 for 30 off the ground with Simmons and ESPN Films. And so one day, I don't even remember what the hell he said. I was on campus in Bristol, Connecticut at ESPN, and one day Skip Bayless had said some crazy shit. I don't remember what it was. It was some racially charged remark or something. It happens so often that like you can't keep up.
Just Skip Bayless beat himself.
Skip gonna skip, man. Yeah. Bayless gonna Bayless. But like, so I happened to be on campus that day, so there was like a little bit of a tension, in the air depending on whose office you walked into, and so John was particularly he was I don't know that he wasn't blind, but he was like going blind. He really had to squint to like see his phone and everything. And so I walk into his office and he hadn't seen us yet that we were standing there, and he was leaning his face really close into his computer monitor, and he was mumbling to himself, what the hell did he say this time? Because I just saw the movie last night. That Jurassic World makes Lost World look like Jurassic Park.
Damn, that was the harshest burn I've ever heard of Jurassic World. Because you just shitted on Jurassic World by using only other shitty Jurassic Park movies.
No. First of all, here's the funny thing about that is I happen to love Lost World. I'm one of the few people. Here's the thing about Lost World. I'm going to defend Lost World now, and I'll tell you why. It's because Jurassic Park is a classic. So when you're following up a classic, you're kind of screwed. Yeah,
it's very hard. Ace Ventura was able to do it.
Cocaine Cowboys 2 Hustling with the Godmother was not able to do it.
The U Part 2 was able to do it.
No, I don't know.
I don't care what anyone says. The U Part 2 is fantastic. Because I grew up in that era, and like it was cool learning about the coke that all the '80s guys were doing while they were playing, and all the strip clubs they'd get in before the Dolphins players. But it was really cool for me to learn about Vince Wilfork and Willis McGahee and Clinton Portis. Like I grew up in that era. I remember watching when Willis blew out his knee. Like, dog, his career's over. That's the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of sports. Like, I remember being there for that.
Yeah, I can't even like, you notice we didn't show it.
Yeah,
you know, we cut off before, because I can't even watch it. I can't stomach it to even watch it. I mean, you know, fortunately he's at where he's at now, which is a miracle and remarkable. But like, I still can't revisit that moment. My stomach just turns. But I think that's a generational thing. Yeah. You know, the U part one, the U part. But no, these guys weren't all just running around doing blow in the '80s. Although I will say that when Cocaine Cowboys first came out, people thought it was about Michael Irvin in Dallas. I will say that. I love Playmaker. I'm sorry. I like to make fun.
I was going to ask
you. You only roast the ones you love.
I was going to say, dude, so what's it like sitting across from the Playmaker, man? Because when I was a kid, my whole family's Cowboys fans. Oh, so, like, to me, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin are like gods in my household. Like, my dad and my whole family had Michael Irvin jerseys. Like, I had an Emmitt Smith jersey because I just wanted to be different. But everybody was just like, the Playmaker was the man. Like, what's that like?
Well, like, first of all, like, he's just one of those personas and those that kind of energy and that kind of charisma. It's like you know, palpable, like in the room. Like, and I'm there to talk Hurricanes football with him, which is like, I mean, like, they pay me to do this? It's crazy, you know? Like, so, and I traveled around with this. The real reason I did this movie was so I could get a ball autographed by all the guys that we interviewed. And I traveled to LA. We had to go to see LA to interview him. He played hard to get because he's the Playmaker.
Because he's the fucking Playmaker.
So he was in LA doing Dancing with the Stars at that time.
What a boss.
This is 2009, and he's doing Dancing with the Stars, and he's doing his he had a Dallas show on ESPN radio in Dallas, and he was doing it remote from like by the Staples Center, a studio by the Staples Center. And so we had to go to ESPN studio in the Staples Center, and they had, in those days, they hadn't finished building it out quite yet, so they had some big studio space available. We went, we built it, he came over, we were told like by his people that like, we have a very small window of opportunities. He's coming right from the radio studio over. He's going to do it, and then he's got to get over to the studio to tape Dancing with the Stars. And once he sat down and started getting into Hurricanes football, it was just amazing.
He was just there.
Nobody ever mentioned the time again. Nobody ever mentioned the time. We went until I asked my last question, and then he took pictures and he signed the ball. And he was just a sweetheart, and obviously, I mean, he has some of the great sound bites, I think, of that first movie. Yeah.
Ever. Who's the most caring person in your life?
The most caring person in my life. Well, I got to shout out Mom.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes she cares a little too much, because that's what moms do, and it gets a little
overbearing.
Yeah. A little bit. Your words.
Trust
your
me.
word, not mine.
Trust me.
Your word, not mine.
I lived that life.
Yes, you have a Jewish mother. You know what I'm talking about. You hear what I'm screaming.
Yeah.
And but it has to be mine. And that's. I mean, if that's the worst thing you could say about someone is that they care too much sometimes, that's the best in my book. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure snack?
Oh man, I grew up a snacker. I mean, tasty cakes and I mean, I would eat crazy shit. Honestly, all time, from my childhood to this day, Krispy Kreme hot ones.
Oh, glory.
I think it's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was going through. You know what I'm saying?
The red lights on,
dude. I just went through like a million snacks in my head, like, because we grew up we grew up. My grandma was an eat dessert first lady, like, so we would go in and like, but here's the thing, like, you can't eat hot Krispy Kremes all the time because then you get spoiled, But we used to. My parents' first house when we grew up was in North Miami Beach, right behind what's now Toys R Us.
Okay.
And that's right across.
I know exactly where that is.
Right by the original. We were 3 blocks away from the original Krispy Kreme, which is still there. The big kitchen where all the trucks, it's the main pod, it's the hub where all the trucks leave, delivery trucks leave in the morning for, and so we lived for that. We live for that blinking red light.
The original Krispy Kremes and the raspberry jelly filled ones those can be topped by no one. You can only watch one movie for the rest of your life. What is it?
Like, it doesn't have to be a favorite movie. It has to. I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be but it has to be a movie that you're cool with
watching forever.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to probably be one of your favorite movies, but that's almost an independent set of criteria, a unique set of criteria. So one of the movies that came to mind, to tell you the truth, was Casino.
Ooh, should have stayed in food and beverage.
Listen, look at his muffin. Look at my muffin. So one of the ones that got away, one of the documentaries we wanted to do that we never got to tell was Frank Lefty Rosenthal. Frank Lefty Rosenthal licensed his life rights to Universal and to Nick Pileggi and Martin Scorsese to write a book called Casino, in which he's Frank Lefty Rosenthal. But he put an interesting quirk in the deal. He said when you adapt it into screenplay form and into a film, you have to change the names of the characters. So Frank Lefty Rosenthal became Sam Ace Rothstein. It's just a quirk. He was a gambler. He was an odds. So he would like to. It was always like a power play with him. So if he could make you do something just because he could, he would do that. He was that kind of guy. He was a shark. He was Sam Ace Rothstein. So, but we met with him. We went to lunch with him. This is funny. So we go. My cousin Dave Ross, who helped introduce us to John Roberts on Cocaine Cowboys, says he goes, I want to, because he used to work in Vegas. Dave, so he's like, I want to do, let's do this real. We did like real Scarface, real Miami Vice. Let's do real Casino. Let's get together. Lefty lives on South Beach. Let's get together. So he's like almost 80 at that point. Tall, skinny guy, always impeccably dressed. Drove this brand new, gorgeous black Mercedes, and he would always be moving to like whenever a new condo would open, he'd be like, I'm gonna move there. Like he always liked everything fresh and new and like showgirls. He always needed the newest showgirl. So like we go to lunch. We said, Lefty, where do you want to go to lunch? He says, let's go to Prime 112.
Oh, not a bad spot to go to lunch.
So we take this guy to lunch.
Oh, okay. Just give me
Prime
a $100 steak. Okay.
Yeah. So $100 a person. There's 4 of us for lunch. We don't exactly have that kind of development money to like wine and dine people like that. So we go to Prime 112 and we pitch him this idea of doing this documentary. And he says, that's an interesting proposition. I'll consider it. So some weeks go by. And I haven't heard back from him yet. So I hit him up. Lefty, what's going on? You thought about it? He goes, let's go to lunch and talk about it. Where do you want to go to lunch? Joe's Stone Crab. Oh. So we take him to lunch at Joe's Stone Crab. And man walks in like he owns the place. He walks in. He walked with this swag that I'd never seen before. This old man swag, and he was just like one hand in his pocket, the other arm just swinging, kind of like Spike and Denzel and Malcolm X. The beginning of Malcolm X with the hat, and the way they walk, but in slow motion, because he's like 80 years old. And he walks the dining room, and people are shaking his hand. It was like De Niro walked in. It was incredible. So we sit down and we talk. We talk about the documentary. End of the meal, he goes, "That's an interesting proposition. I'll consider it." So I hit him up a month later. That and back. He says, let's go to lunch and talk about it. Alfred goes, F this, we're going broke with this guy. Let's go to Joe Allen. Joe Allen was this cool place on the beach. You can eat there 3 nights a week. Thomas Harris, who wrote Black Sunday and Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, he would hang out at the bar, and it was like more of a neighborhood vibe. Nice place, good food, but reasonable prices. So we go there, and Joe Allen had this famous parking lot right next to it that you weren't allowed to park in. In fact, printed on the cover of the menus, it said, if you parked in the lot just next door, you will get towed. Please move your car. So we see Lefty. There was windows all around. So we see Lefty walking, slowly strutting all the way to the front of the restaurant and then all the way around. And he walks in, and we turn and look outside, and there's this black Mercedes parked in the lot next door. We think it's his. So Lefty comes in, and we said, Lefty, did you park over there? He's like, oh, yeah. Like, they're going to tow you. But it's going to take him 45 minutes to walk back around and move the car. So Alfred, he takes his key, he hands it to Alfred. He says, do me a favor. He goes, will you move the car? And then when we're done with lunch, you can walk me to wherever you parked it, and I can leave from there. So we have lunch with the guy, and we pitch him the doc again, and he says, that's an interesting proposition.
I'll consider it. I said, f*** you,
and
Lefty.
We walk him to his car, And I'll never forget, I took a picture with my BlackBerry. I had a BlackBerry in those days. He had these beautiful shoes on. And when he got into this BlackBerry, I said, can I take a picture of your shoes? And somewhere I have a picture of Lefty's shoes. And he drives away. And I said, well, what'd you think of all that again? And Alfred says, all I know is, and all I've been thinking about this entire meal and this entire conversation, is Frank Lefty Rosenthal asked me to start his car.
And he did it! What an idiot!
I didn't even think about it. I'm like...
Otherwise, what's the point? And for a while, I believed that's the kind of love I had.
Oh, shit, I'm just hearing the opera music. I'm saying... Because that really happened. That shit really happened. And I'm like, that's the... I got chills thinking about it now. I'm like, that's the... I'm like, I never thought about it, but Alfred, I'm like, and you did... He start... I was like, that's the baddest ass thing I have ever heard. So,
right now is your moment to share with the world. Get it off your chest. What you got? Any message, positive, negative? Go.
I want to say, the experience, and I don't want to really be in promotional mode, but like the experience on Dogfight was really life altering. I realized that if we had captured this, we had tried to tell the story of these guys and their struggle and their lives, and if we hadn't done that, then Tree and Chauncey are just statistics, literally. Chauncey's another guy with a rap sheet taller than I am who died in violence on the street. Live by the sword, die by the sword kind of situation. Tree would have been just another death in police custody that we'll never find out what actually happened that night. Not in Hialeah anyway. And that's it. And you would have just seen, their old mugshots with a little local news story on a website.
That's it.
And then you would have had those hateful, ignorant comments underneath with just like thug, or got what was coming to him, or you don't listen to police, that's what happens, or just these kind of, and their entire, these were sons, these were brothers, these were nephews and cousins, and in some cases fathers, and the way we could be so callous, and the way we could be so not empathetic or sympathetic to the fact that you don't get to choose who your parents are. You're born, and then you play the hand that you're dealt. You do the best you can. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're a bad person who makes bad decisions and hurts other people, but we're all human beings, we're all on this earth, and most of us, I think, are trying. You wake up, and you gotta survive that day. Whatever that means for you. You gotta provide shelter, clothing, food for your family, and I always say, let's face it, I'm a white guy in America. I was born on second base, or at least on first base, but some people are never in the ballpark, let alone the dugout, to extend that metaphor. Like, some people in this country, in this world, just aren't. But how can we not, as a human, just go, okay, I understand that this person's experience over here is completely different from mine, and I can sympathize that maybe they make mistakes that are even worse than the mistakes that I might make, but that's because of that's their life, that's their experience. And I really just I hope that people watch that movie and because it changed me that way, where I became, I think, more empathetic, more like, what is it that you're going through? What's your struggle? I know mine, it's not so bad compared to other people, so I'm terribly grateful. I feel that way. But why don't people stop and just say, I know nothing about this person. I can't reduce them to a word, a thought. That's it. And then just say their entire life is going to be defined by one incident or one word or in a very hateful and ignorant way. And I just I don't know. I really feel like we just need, I think people should be judged on how we treat the most vulnerable people, our most vulnerable populations.
So, this is a great Uber ride, a long-ass Uber ride.
$1,700 Uber ride is what this. Now, you didn't have a charger for my phone. You didn't have a bottle of water.
Yeah, I do.
You didn't have Starlight.
I got a little bit of Gatorade. You can have some.
Dude, I don't. Anything with the word Gator in it, all right? I want nowhere near
I got
my
some
person.
Hurricane Aid right here. What would my rating be on Uber?
Oh shit, 6 stars.
Woo-hoo!
6 stars.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? This is and I have a lot of fun Uber rides. I gotta tell you, but this definitely takes. Now, some of those fun Uber rides, I'm glad there's not a camera. I'm just saying. I just
Yeah, I bet.
It's just saying. But this is a fun ride that I'm glad it was on. Again, I didn't get to introduce myself because I even though people, you introduced me, I think I need to say here for the first time and announce that from this day forward, I want to be known as Caitlin Kardashian Corbin. Caitlin Kardashian Corbin. From here forward, I'm making the announcement right now, right here.
You know what, Caitlin? I appreciate the fact that you came on the show. And Caitlyn Jenner, I ain't got no problems with you. You're a cool dude.
I love it.
Dude, you raised...
Woman.
Yeah, I apologize. You're a cool woman. You, as a man, you raised 6 kids, and half the people trying to make fun of you ain't raised their own damn kids, so they need to mind their damn business. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, the only person to raise more kids is Antonio Cromartie.
Oh my God. So it's the 5-minute warning. And the 5-minute warning... 5-minute warning! I don't know why I did that. I've never done that before.
5 minutos.
Yes. In Miami. Very necessary.
Sí, bueno. Very, very.
Very, very.
Very, very.
I don't know why they're V's or B's. But
very, very.
This is the 5-minute warning.
Sí, bueno.
We're going to put a song on. It's probably going to be a song we were talking about for karaoke. We're going to sing the absolute hell out of it.
Walking in the cold November rain. Break down. On your own, so you need some time all alone. Ooh, everybody needs some time on their own. Ooh, don't you know you need some time all alone? Wouldn't time be out to charm you?
Get it, Slash. You better get it. So we always end the show the same way. With the shout outs.
At Party City.
At Party City. No, with the shout outs. I always go first because it's my show, so I get the go first. All right. Shout out to the ladies on The Talk today, giving me love. Like, who knew that? Who knew ever be on that show? Like, what? That was cool. Shout out to everybody that's blowing this story up again. Don't know why it's a big deal. I just want to get some extra cash. Everybody wants to get extra cash. Nobody blinks a eye when Warren Buffett buys a new company, but all of a sudden I start driving Uber and it's front page news. Shout out to my man Billy for coming through. Shout out Miami, best city in the world. And shout out everybody watching the show. We got a shit ton more subscribers since the story broke on AP again. It's double my subscribers in 24 hours. Yeah, it was insane. That's all I got. On you, go.
Shout out Dada 5000.
Okay.
Shout out City of Miami Beach as well, because it's a totally, we have like 34 municipalities in Miami-Dade County. Got to represent.
Oh, Miami Gardens, Miami Lakes.
Carroll City, Liberty City, West Perrine, Pinecrest, Hialeah, Opelika.
Hialeah.
Dude, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, shout out to Hialeah, where the streets have 3 names. And shout out to Eileen, my mom. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to Raconteur. Shout out to BYBExtreme.com. Dada 5000, dude. I gotta, you gotta promote.
Hey, Dada, you want these hands, you can get them. I'm bullshitting. I'm bullshitting, dog. As soon as you bench press 200 pounds more than me, I didn't want to with you.
Man could bench press this car. Dada 5000.
Yeah. That's
so like I gotta rest my voice now.
Any dude with that design in his hair, he's already up here. He's already ready to whoop my ass, and I'm not.
Spartan haircut. Yeah, you know why he dyed the mohawk red? It's so because when we were on the road promoting together, so people could tell us apart. So you know he was the guy with the red.
You guys look
shout
so
out
much
Axel.
Oh,
shout out Slash.
Yo. South Park, is that real? Like, do you just show up like Santa Claus, like nobody knows when you're gonna actually be there? Like, is that a real thing?
Clyde, the truth is, Slash isn't a person. He's more like a feeling in your heart, you know?
Slash isn't real. Get out of here.
Because if so, I totally would like you to show up at my house and just and rock the out. That would be awesome if you could do that.
Shout out to Drunken Dragons.
Drunken Dragons. So
we should be 2 Drunken Dragons right now. Is what we should be doing.
Dude, I'm with that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. No, you got to Uber. Yeah. You're everybody's designated driver.
Shit, I'm off the clock as soon as this interview ends.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
let's drink.
Yeah.
Sing, baby.
Let's do it. I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for gracing me with your presence. This has been the longest interview I've ever done, so this is most certainly going to be at least 2 parts, maybe 3 parts, because there's not. Usually, I'm like, I don't really care what this person has to say, so I'll cut parts of their interview out, and that'll be like a 35-minute interview, but the video itself will be like 17 minutes. Like, this is every single thing we talked about is going to be on here. I'm 100% going to make sure this is at least 2 or 3 parts. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you for coming on the show. This has been awesome for me. Hope it's been fun for you.
What's not gonna be fun is my credit card bill with this Uber charge on it.
It's gonna be
next time we'll Uber pool.
Yeah.
We'll pick up some other people.
Yeah, this is about an $8,000 Uber ride.
Y'all got layaway?
Layaway. Do you know how many of my Christmas gifts are on layaway?
I'll pay for this come Hanukkah.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Hey, everybody out there, YouTube world, have drive, man. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Peace.
About to call your ass a Uber, I got somewhere to be.
I guess I'm gonna sound like an old Jew. Like, kids these days with their stripes and their shiny helmets I'm really just doing Eddie Murphy doing an old Jewish guy. That's beautiful. What is that?
If the man wants to call himself Muhammad Ali, my God, you have to call him Muhammad Ali.
That's beautiful. What is that? Velvet? But I just feel
if
like
Mama named him Clay, I'ma call him Clay.
boy, good. You never met no Martin Luther King.
You ain't never.
Boy, good and terrible.
That's one of my favorite movies.
That movie's brilliant. That movie is brilliant.